we've got us a South Shore furniture been delivered. We've moved it into the house is all, and just kind of want to capture this first. The box looks fairly damaged. I hope that the insides are not as bad. Other than the corners, I think we'll be all right. So we're going to be replacing the other office desk that we have. It's a little bit big, so we're going to be removing this desk and putting this one in its place, actually two of them. So we're going to see if we can capture some of this and see what it takes to put it together. Okay, basically I've opened it up. It all looks good, and I've separated them. These all appear to be things that will be building a drawer, and the drawer bottoms, probably the back of something, and then that will probably go over with the other. I'll move that. That would be the top. Seems how it's the biggest and the heaviest, and then I'm guessing those are just the little boards to build the top rack of this. And then I've got my other hardware laid out here. And I think this is all part of the top shelf. So we'll just kind of set those together because they look like they go together. So now I'll go ahead and look at the directions and see if we can put it together the way it goes. We'll kind of run through this and see just how long it does take to get it done. Okay, this is going to be interesting. So, according to this, we need a screwdriver and a hammer. I think this picture designates two people. We're going to see how that is. The instruction booklet, I'm assuming. I'm not really quite sure what that is. This is definitely music playing so that you can enjoy yourself, I guess. The instructions in this are pretty vague, but we'll be able to figure it out. This is a pretty good picture of how it's going to go and what it's going to look like when it's done up there in the top. So that's what we're supposed to have it when we get done, but there is no instructions really. Collect all pieces together. So we've done that, and now we'll go to step 3, which tells us that we should, there's all our parts and pieces, which we've pretty much got, and it helps us to identify them. Collect the hardware. I've got it laid out so that we know each of the bags and what's in them. So that'll be those. And then step 4, it's pretty vague on this, but it's saying, I guess, put those pieces in and don't use a hammer to do it. So I think that's pretty much all your side pieces. So that's what we're going to do, is lay out our side pieces and see if we can put all those pieces in the holes that would be. So I'm thinking on something like this piece here. Down here we'll need to put the round ones in each of the corners, I'm sure. And then probably something like that one and that one look like they're about the size of those other pins. And we'll go through and do that to all of these, and once we get that done, we'll be able to look it over a little closer. This one here is pretty obvious which ones get that. So we'll go ahead and start lining those up and see if we can put the pieces together. Okay, now first pieces that we were talking about were these. Let's see if we can get that to focus. And they're going to go into these holes. And when you do it, there's a little arrow on there. You want to make sure that that faces the hole, wherever it happens to be. So those just push on in like that. And go through and find all the holes that they fit in, and I think we'll be able to stick them in, and that will be that part of it. All right, we've got them in. They've got them in all the little parts there, and we've placed them in this one here. And they're about in every piece you can see. Up there. Not the only one that didn't get any was the actual desktop. And down there. And up into there. And when I got all done, there was exactly one spare left in the bag, in this bag. So we'll go ahead now, and we got to figure out, it says we also need to do this. So we got to figure out exactly where those go. And we'll show you how to put one of those in a minute. Okay, so these, I know we have to have them in the top of the desk. So what I'm going to do, and they just, they're saying just to take them and just simply set them in the hole. And then once we attach the other parts of the board, we'll go ahead and that will tighten them up and keep them in place. So I'm going to go through and see how many places I can find that need those put in them, and we'll show you that when we get done, kind of give you an idea how many of them and where they all go. Okay, we've got all of them I could find in there. I've had 3 that are left over, but we had the 2 on the bottom here of this piece. We had several on these, and it looks like we needed those. It's pretty much any hole they fit into is what we came up with. There's 2 on that piece. There's several on that one, and then there's the other little pieces here. So if we get putting it together and we find a place that we missed, we'll come back and pick that up later. But right now I think that's all we've got. And in that bag, so that kind of, I think those 2 bags kind of go together. I don't know, they didn't really mark which bag had parts that go with what, but those were the 2 bags I've used so far. I know there is another bag over here that's got a lot of the somewhat same pieces in them, but I believe those are going to be for our drawers because our drawer faces do have that. So our next thing would be, we need to find out how to put this together, which is looks like our drawer slides on C1 and C2, or H. So we'll find those in the hardware and set that up for our next step, and show you how that looks. Okay, so now we're going to, we found the parts that we need, I believe, and we found the bag. So this is, for reference, the bag that has the hardware in it. And we found the 2 parts, and they do have, if you look at them, there are numbers right here that tell you what they are. And this is C1, and the other one was H. It's on the far side over there. So what we did is we filleted them out exactly as this, and all the holes line up perfectly. And then you'll need your slides. And if you look at these, you can read CR on the inside. That'll go on the right-hand panel. And then on the other side, you'll have CL. That comes in. And they line up directly with the holes here. So it'll screw down, and that'll go exactly as it says here. The CR will go on this side, and the CL will go on the H panel. So then once we've got that, these, let's see if I can set this camera up a little bit to show you how they go in. So what you need is just a screwdriver. And then you take these and just line up the hole and set it into it, and just simply screw it in. I do not recommend using a screw gun, and they kind of mentioned that also, because this is going into a particle board furniture, so it will strip that up pretty quickly if you use the big screw guns. These can snug them up fairly decent. And let's go ahead and we'll finish those up, and then we'll see what our next step is. All right, our next step is supposed to be to find the drawer slides which would be these, and we have to separate the tracks on both of them. So the way that's done, if we're following the directions, we should be able to pull these apart all the way. Let's see if we can do that. And then there's a little pin in here. You should be able to push that all the way down and then just simply slide them apart. So you do the one, and we'll do the second one. All right, there we go. Those are separated. And at this point, then we can go to step 7, and it shows us where to lay those down, and then we'll have to secure those with some more of the screws that are needed. So let me get some more screws and lay those in place. Okay, we've got these laid out, and it's got to really watch what you're doing a little bit, but I'll kind of, in the directions, it kind of shows you the flipping and flopping around. About the only way you can really tell what they're doing. It's not real clear, but there is only one way I think that they will line up. So on your C1 panel, these are going to line up, and you can see, I think, if we look down in there, you can see the holes are kind of all lined up on that one, and the black end will be down at that side, and that'll be on that end, just to give you a kind of perspective as to how it's going to sit in there. And then these will also be mounted the same way, and all these tracks kind of move around a little bit to just get it to where it'll fit down in between it. And go ahead and secure those down. And each of these, they show 4 screws, so I would not tighten them completely probably, because we're probably going to have to move that just a little bit. Kind of get them all started and then tighten them up, I think, would be the benefit. So fourth one. Go through and snug them all down. There we go. And then the other side, as you can see, will line up the same way. The black end will be down at this side, and all those holes should line right up. And we'll put the screws in this side. Okay, I think we've got the right one figured out here. It looks like to me that this is an N. As you can see on this, it does say N. So that's going to go here, but we do need some dowels, and it's showing to put those here. Let's see, into the space here where this is going to go. So I believe, actually looks like a couple of dowels there, and at least one here. So the one we're going to use is going to line up with that, which is going to be that one right there, I believe, on C1. And on the other side of C1 over here would surely be that one. So we'll have that, and then I think we have to kind of push those on in. Let's just lightly tap both of those in. And I think that's really the only two it's showing. There might be a couple other dowels there that need to be also stuck in, though, on the far side. And they're just kind of showing those being put into these two holes. So we'll go ahead and stick a couple of dowels in there too while we're at it. Like I say, they don't take a whole lot, just bottom them out. Okay, and then we should be able to set this on here, and that shows in the directions here that this should face, the screws should face the away from all the drawer slides, so that would put it in this orientation here, like that. And then it shows that these pins are in there, and then these, you just turn those quarter turn. You don't have to snug them real hard, but a little bit. And then the other side, we'll do the same thing over here. Set that one on that, and we'll snug that one up. This seems to be sturdy. Okay, and then we'll go on to see step 9. It's going to want us to put the other dowels in here, and H in here, and then we'll be able to put everything together. So that would be the other half over here. So we'll go ahead and dowel up this hole, this hole, this hole, and this one over here. So we'll throw those in right now. So this other piece, we went ahead and got dowels, and we've set this in. It shows us setting this up on its side, and that kind of lines everything up there. And then we'll simply, I believe, be able to take this one, the other half, and we'll see if we can line this up to kind of fit together here. Together, and that's together, and then we can take our screwdriver and snug these up so it kind of holds them all back together. Okay, there we go, and it's sort of looks like this when we're all done. So that's that step. That should take care of everything we had, I think, on step 9. So we'll go on to step 10. Looks like we'll be adding another section to this. I wonder if it's side that actually is on. Let's let me look this over and see what we've got to do with it next. Okay, the directions now say put this together. So we've come up with this side. I did not have the little plugs in there, and I had 3 left over, remember, from the other step. But I needed 3 more, so I'm 3 shy on this. I ended up taking them out of this other piece that I had here. So we'll just kind of put that off. But anyways, we need G1, which would be this piece. And then we're going to need F2 and G, which would be these two. That would be your G. And this one is going to be the F1. So they've all got to kind of be held onto this. So as we put them together, we'll slide this other half up against it, and they should all kind of fall together. We'll see just how well smoothly this goes. Let's see if I can catch that on camera at all. So I'm going to take my screwdriver. I'll start out, I think, with this one. Place it in there. Snug it up. Something's not working right. Did I not put something in there? It's not grabbing that for some reason. I have a little arrow there. Should line right up with that one. Was there something? There we go. We was off of it a little bit apparently. Should hold for a minute. And then the next one will be this one. And it'll go, let's see which way does it go. I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference because all sides are unfinished except for the front and the back. So I'm going to guess that that's going to go. Of course, the back of it would be that way. Let's see if it shows. Come this way. So we'll set that in there, like so, and tighten it up. And then the last but not least, we'll set this one in, and it shows it going in this direction. I'm hoping that you can maybe see what I'm doing a little bit here. Let's try to angle this down a little bit. There we go. So you can see this one went in this way, and then this one slides on there, and we snug that one up. And then we should be able to do the other side. I'm going to just take this. These pieces will line up. Swing them up a little bit. That's what that's going to look like when we're all done with it. So we back it up a little bit. Now it's starting to look like a formation of a desk. So I think that concludes step number 10. Let's see what number 11 does. That's going to have us, looks like, put the top on it while it's laying here on the ground. So we'll go ahead and move that back just a little bit. Let's see if we can set this up to see how that's going to look. Okay, and that's got that on. Yes, that's starting to look like something. And they do show some little caps here. I think I'm going to put those on a little bit later on. We'll stick them in wherever they happen to go. I think we've got everything tightened down on that, so that's step number 11. And let's see if we can find what number 12 is going to do. Hopefully we'll be able to stand this thing up, I would think. Let's see here. I'll get this page to turn for me. Okay, it's got a back for it. So we're going to have to take it and, looks like, flip the furniture on its front, it says. So we'll flip that over. And then it looks like this piece is going to be the back of that when we get done. So let's see if we can flip this over. Hopefully it's not too heavy. This. And we'll just add the, looks like we'll add nails to that, so it doesn't have any preset nail holes. So it just kind of shows a lot of nails stuck in. I think we just need to have it square is what it's indicating on this. Make sure it's square to the top and then wherever it floats out at the bottom. So that would be this going here, and make sure that we're flush here and flush there, and then make sure that it stays square coming all the way down on this side. And we'll just put some nails in it. Okay, we've got this all on. As we say, we want to make sure this is flush up here and then kind of rack it as you go so that that's nice and even. And then I put about 6 nails up through this side and about 4 across the top. And I think I had about 3 nails left over out of the little pouch they had. And then the next step is they want you to put little rubber pads on the bottom here so that it won't scratch your floor. And they look like this, and we'll just peel those off and stick those on each of the corners here. So let's see if we can see this or not. One on each end of this. We'll stick one there. There. The other side. Okay, and that has 2 of them left over, but you can see they're on there. Okay, we can go on to step number 13, I think. I think we can go ahead and actually stand that up. Furniture in its front. I don't see any reason we can't. It's kind of showing us putting the top one together now. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to stand this thing up so it's not laying on its face like this anymore. Okay, I think I have found my missing 3 that I had earlier. This piece here does not get them, and I had them stuck in these holes. And if you look at this, these holes actually go completely through, so they would not get those. So I've pulled those back out, and I've got my other pieces set together. So this will set on here. But first thing we need to do is we're going to have to add dowels to these, which would be these holes here. So there's 2 holes in the bottom of that. So we'll need 2 dowels in that, a dowel here, same thing on this end, and 2 holes on here. And that should about do us, I believe. So we're going to go ahead and start placing dowels in all these little holes, same as we had done before. And then we'll start stacking them all together. So let's see if we can. Okay, and we get one here. Here and one here. I believe that'll do it. Okay, so now I've got to rearrange these pieces to set like that and just kind of slide them all together. Okay, step 13 then. We've got it put together. All our pieces will look like this when we're done, and we went ahead and we just made sure these all lined up the same. I think that's the best way to do that. And then the next step on that, which shows here, is that on the back side, on step number 14, it shows us putting all those tightened up, and then the screw coming in on the back side. So that means that these will get back here in these holes. We'll end up putting these screws, and they go in and attach to the shelf that comes through from the back. So we'll put those in and tighten those down. Okay, I've added those to it, and you'll have to move this around a little bit so that the holes, there's actually holes in the bottom of these, so you can line those up and just set your screws through that. And that takes care of step 14. And then 15 says we just turn this around and set it down in, and our little dowel should line right up. So we'll take this and spin it around, and let's see what we can do here. We can take this and line it up right there, and then we'll line up this side over here same way. And out of all that damage that was done, I see that there's one spot right here on our top that did get some damage during the shipment. I forgot to point that out earlier, but that was a little damage. I'm hoping that that's just buried in the back, and we'll just have to learn to live with it, I think. So, but that's got the basic concept of the desk put together. So we're going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll start putting our drawers together and filling that in, and we should be in pretty good shape. All right, so we're going to continue on. Now we have to build the drawers. I've set out the panels, and it looks like we, according to this, will need, well, I think I did skip over 16. 16 basically tells us that these are the pieces that we're going to need to build this drawer. I think there's an inaccuracy here to a certain point, but we should need 8 dowels. This says we need 4 of these little clips and 4 of those, but I believe, after looking at it, when we go to the next page of 17, I'm just kind of glancing through here, and it's looking like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of each of those, and up here it does tell us that it's 8 of those and 8 of those. So I think we're off a little bit on that. But anyways, we've set the pile beside there, and we've got this R1, which is our face of the door, and then the two sides, I guess, in the back, and then the drawer base. So we're going to go ahead and put the parts and pieces in here and try to follow along with it. So I'll kind of set it up here to hopefully be able to see it. I'll do it like that, maybe. So the first thing it says, let's start with this one. is going to be, one of these is going to go into the top, and then a dowel, and then top, and a dowel, and the same thing on the other side, top, and a dowel, and a top, and a dowel. And this will require those to be screwed in. I think a Phillips screwdriver will do that. So we'll go ahead and drive these on in. Okay, let's get R1 satisfied. And it tells us on T1, which I believe is this one, which would be T1. We'll set that up as it sits, and it gets, looks like the dowel closest to the groove, and it gets, and this is where I did not get enough of these out. So we need 4 more of these. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. This one. And a dowel. One. And dowel. One. Dowel. And one. And we tighten these up. And that concludes what we have on 17. So now we'll flip it over here and see what step 18 says. And it's simply stating that we needed to put, somehow we did not get to that. But I don't see where we're supposed to put the other pieces in, but we will need to put the pieces into S1 and S2, I'm sure, for our receivers. But it's showing us to kind of set it in place with T1 being on the bottom, which would be our face. We'll move these out of the way a minute. And it wants us to put the 2 S2s in here. Should be this way. And here again, this is where I think we're wrong, because we need to put those other pieces in, and it didn't show us to do that, so we're going to go ahead and do that. And it also has the little arrows that line up perfectly, as it did with the other piece. And maybe these would be all right to put in later, but we're going to put them in now. Just makes sense to do it now. So, line that up. And then we'll do the same thing on the the other side. It's going to be a little more difficult to see. Let's swap it over here. And let's see if we can get this at all. And maybe not. It's hard to see what we've got going. Let's line the grooves up. I think we need those other pieces on these too. Set the back in place. It should just slide in like so. So it'll look like that. And then we'll need, after those are in, we'll go on to step number 19. And I guess it does say we can put those others in afterwards. But we're going to simply set the top on it. And we should have that. And do it like so. And we did not put the plugs in before, so now we're going to see if they actually will go in after the fact. And it does appear they will. So, here we go. They go right in. And then we can go ahead and secure all those. Half a turn. Notice that the top up here, the little dowels, they kind of went all the way through. Make sure they're flush, I think. And that pretty much takes us through step 19, and see that the drawer is starting to take shape. So step 19 finishes that. And we'll now see what step 20. Okay, so step 20, we're going to have to insert the side rails. So let me locate those, and we'll set up to put those on. Okay, so step 20 tells us that these go on. The front of it would be here, and it appears that the solid portion of it goes towards the front of the drawer, and the open end goes towards the back. So we've set it up here, and we've taken this one. It would be this here, and they line up with little screw holes. Like I say, with the solid towards the front of the door, and then the open end there. And then it's going to take 4 screws, and they will go 1, 2, and 3. It said 4, I thought. Maybe I misread, because I only see 3 holes. Unless I've got them lined up wrong. Actually, I'm seeing only 2 screws, 3 screws, yes. So we've got the 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we'll go ahead and tighten those in. Magnetic strip on my screwdriver makes it a little more challenging. And I believe these are the right holes. We're going to find out, I guess, when we go to put it together. They lined up. I don't know as though they go any further to the front or to the back. And these are always the questions we come up with, because they could have been this one, and this one, conceivably. But I can't tell for sure. It looks like it's in the regular holes, so we're going to go with that. I don't know. They've got also that one, and that one. But it doesn't show like that goes all the way to the front. So we're going to try this. If it's wrong, we'll correct it on the next. And we'll do the same thing on the other side of the drawer. So that'll get us for that. Okay, after looking at the instructions a little bit closer and swapping the drawer around, I do think that this actually does butt right up to the end, and then the screw holes 1, 2, and 3 do line up. So I'm going to try it that way, and I think that puts us complete on step number 20, and we'll go to 21. So we should be able to set the drawer up right. And then we will have the little plastic sleeves that will go over it, which are in our box, would be these. And these will be the, looks like the hanging file type. So we'll see if we can get these cut loose. And I don't know which way we want to put those. It shows that let's see here. We can figure this out. Looks like maybe let's turn this way so we can see it. Okay, so I believe it looks like one of them goes on the back, and I think they all hang this direction. And that squeezes over that. Kind of get it started on one end and just push it on down and center it. I think that's the way that goes. Here again, why I make this up is because we kind of have to work with it. That might go, if we're looking a little closer, it must go towards the inside. So I think I'll have to swap that back around. And this will go towards the inside to hold the baskets. I think this is so that it can do either the legal or the standard files. So it looks like that goes that way. And then these will go this way, which would allow our standard files. And then this piece goes on here. And if we wanted to do the legal folders, they would fit on that, I think. I believe that's how that's going to set up. And that has our drawer put together. And so at this point, I think we are ready to see if we can get it placed in the desk itself. And that should be just a simple slide it in place. like that's got the drawer in place. So drawer number one is there. I think the next thing we have to do is probably put the knob on. And we can do that while it's in place. So we'll go ahead and get our knob. And I think we've got some screws in one of the packages here. And we'll bring that over here and see if we can get the handle on it. Screws to the inside, and this will go on here this way. Let's start it by hand. And that's got it put together. So I think from there we should be good to place the rest of the drawers together in the same fashion, and we'll probably update when I go to put the tracks on there, because I think that would probably be the biggest change, unless I find something different. That's basic concept, just do that 2 more times. Okay, so the drawer basically goes together just like the other one did. Everything went exactly as planned. And now we're down to, we've gone through 24, 25, which just basically shows us the same things it did. And then we'll go to 26, which is going to show us the rails. So the rails are set up, and of course these are the same thing. If you look at them, they will say DL, which is drawer left and drawer right. So as you look at it from the front of the drawer, it'll go on here, and the wheel will go to the back, and you can see they line up with the little holes there and there. And then they're required, these plugs the same as they were on the other one. So we'll set that one in there, and this one in this one. And then they just simply get screwed down. And then do that side, and then we'll just simply flip it over and do the same thing over here. And that will be wheel to the back, and this is drawer right, and we'll put the 2 screws in that, and then it'll be ready to slide into the hole too. One there, one here, and let's see if we can tighten this up. Okay, so we're going to have to put this back down for a second. Until we can get her started. All right, so that's got the drawer. And then we'll have to put the handle on, but, and of course this should just sit in there like that, and goes closed, and we'll put the handle on that, and we'll build the other drawer, and that should have her looking pretty good. Okay, we've got it all pretty well put together. I was missing one part, which was one of the screws on here, on the back side over here. So the drawer does work. It's in there. We'll have to get one for it though, because it's not going to be solid without it. I've got another one I've got to put together. Maybe I'll be lucky and I'll have an extra one of those when I get that one. But that one looks a little damaged. I'm hoping it's not. So when we get all done, the only thing I didn't do that we can still do is these little screws down here. They send us the little plastic covers, and for those, it's simply, if you don't want to look at that, you set them in there and just kind of push them into the hole of the bolt, and that covers it up. And these are really the only other ones I saw that I didn't like the looks of. They've sent enough to do, I think, every one of them. But we'll kind of look and see. Get them lined up. A bit tough on that one. And there's kind of bollard over, but there's plenty of them here. So I'll get those and put them in there. And then we'll, like I say, there's several of them in here. And then there's also, they show the something for cable management, if you have that. And it just slips over it. They show the picture of that under step 28. It does say that the test is able to hold 75 pounds and our drawers are 25 pounds a piece. We'll see how that goes. So when I got all done, I was missing one part. We've got plenty of extra dowels left over. I had 2 nails I didn't put here, 3 nails that I did not get in. I had one of the clips there that did not get used. Like I said, I haven't put the little plugs in yet. The Allen wrench I never did use. There's actually 2 more pads that we could have used. And there's a couple of screws, and I'm not sure, that I thought came off the back of that drawer for the slider. I'm going to see if that's missing one. The flat screwdriver I did not use at all. The only tool I really used was the Phillips screwdriver and the hammer. But other than that, that really is the end of that one. And that kind of gives us how the desk is going to look here in the corner. And like I say, the other one will be beside it. We may try to get a picture of them when they're set up as my office. But that's it for this portion of it anyways. All right, we got the first desk was, of course, this one. We got that one completed, all set up nice, and the second desk. And we also did end, this is actually a nightstand, but we're using it as a supply cabinet. So the area is complete. Looks like it's going to work well for a 2-person station. And hopefully this has helped you if you get one of your little stands. We'll put the description of what this is and where I got it and in the comments. And hopefully it helps you out. If you got any questions, please don't be afraid to ask. And if you wouldn't mind, hit the thumbs up if this has helped you, and hit the little subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. Thank you.